I'm here with Lewin from Microsoft. Daniel, thank you so much for being here today.
Sure. My name's Lewin. I'm with Microsoft. I'm a vice president at the company. I live and work here in Silicon Valley, and I look after what we do with startups and entrepreneurs on a global basis. If you will, the pebble in the pond in Silicon Valley then ripples out around the world, and we have programs and offers and ways to engage with entrepreneurs everywhere in the world locally. But I get to sit in the valley, if you will, for Microsoft, where we have 3,000 people, and we look at the best way to take the best practices that we see here and around the world and then share them and to build entrepreneurial communities in each local market.
Great. Well, tell me about that space and the background and how you got there, what it offers.
On a personal note, I've had a lot of different entrepreneurial experiences, both as a kid and in college, and then coming to Silicon Valley in 1976 after finishing college. And through those experiences, I've had some good success and a lot of failures and learnings. The end result is I'm at a place and time in my life and at a company, Microsoft, where we both care a lot about this next generation entrepreneurial community and how technology and ICT, information and communications technology, are the essential enablers to many of the global issues that we face. And so I'm in this briar patch, I'm in this place, if you will, where I'm stuck dealing with entrepreneurs. This is exactly what I want to do, and helping from a programmatic as well as kind of a hands-on perspective, helping young companies succeed where IT and our software in particular can be an enabler to their success.
Wow, that's fantastic.
It's really great, yes.
And is there a specific space that you focus on?
Yeah. What we've done is made this global program. We call it Bizspark, B-I-Z-S-P-A-R-K. You can go to the website and look it up. We make available all of our tools and servers and related technologies to startup companies that are less than 3 years old. And there's less than a certain amount of revenue, typically local variations apply, but $1 million US, if you will, and private because they're young startup companies. So there's simple 3 criteria. And through a community of what we call network partners, and we're working with Startup America on this, and we're working with the Kauffman Foundation on this and others, we hand out tokens, and these young companies can use any volume of our software at no charge to build their business. So it's all for web-facing businesses. In 2 years plus, we have nearly 40,000 companies, about 13,000 in the US. And it's through these communities of network partners. They can be law firms or tech transfer offices in the universities or incubators or accelerators. We are bringing together, we hope, the best ingredients to give these young companies an opportunity to have success in the market. And I would add, just in closing, the top ones that have reached the market and where the market speaks and is giving them feedback and they're growing quickly in areas where we can be helpful, we actually double down and invest a lot more of our resource, consulting services and distribution channels and other things like that. We're not capital investors, but resource investors in these companies. And about 100 companies a year actually fit that sweet spot, and hopefully we can really launch them and help accelerate their success.
Well, that's great. So you actually have some hands-on and consulting mentoring type background.
Yes, we do.
How does that take shape? I mean, what should a company hope to get out of that if they make it to that top 100?
Yeah, well, in that case, if they're in the top 100, we may have some of our best technical architects providing consulting services on scalability analysis. So if they think their website's going to scale and they're going to be the next Facebook, more power to them. We'll run the simulations in our technology centers where we can simulate, peak loads of traffic that are off the charts. We give them unlimited use right to our cloud services and cloud storage capability if they fit this sweet spot. So we have one young company, for example, that is doing supply chain optimization calculations in our cloud. So at any moment in time, they're spinning up 3,000 servers to run calculations for 10 minutes or an hour. I don't know the math exactly. And then they shut them down. And so we don't charge them for that. That lets their financial investors see the money go that much further as they're proving out their capabilities to large customers like Walmart that might be interested in it. So we'll help them introduce them to our customer base, which includes basically every company in the world. We're very broad. and then help them, again, by offsetting costs and giving them technical and architectural guidance. That's our expertise, is the market, the channel, the customers, and the technical guidance. And then we make sure that there are others around the table, mentors, financiers, and we can help them in their due diligence to do financing and bring them to the attention of venture capitalists and others that we also maintain rapport with.
Great. And how would a company get to that top 100? What advice do you have for them on how to get to the top?
Well, it's always better to be lucky than good, right? So the fact of the matter is, join the program, Bizspark. It's Microsoft.com, whack Bizspark, so that they're in the program and we know about you. You don't have to give away very much information. You just get access to everything. And then it's really a question of the market speaking, so they need to have market traction, and we pay attention, and we're a pretty big company and we use technology tools to pay attention. And then it does boil down to, and this is where the luck comes into it, is it an area where we can actually be helpful? So one of the things that my group does is we cover the 40 or so different business groups inside of our company. We're a big company. And we understand their priorities, the top 3 to 5 priorities. So you got 40 groups times, say, 5 priorities. So there's 200 areas or so where we're looking for partners to help optimize the value of our underlying software technology. And if you happen to hit that sweet spot, and that's where the lucky comes in, then we're all over it and we'll be helpful. But we're not, no one is a kingmaker, right? The market has to speak, but we can reduce risk and remove cost barriers and accelerate sales opportunity and give marketing air cover. So that's our skill.
Okay, great. And what pitfalls would you advise a company to try to avoid when they're doing a startup?
Well, I think the thing that, in my experience, is you're starting a business, pick your partners well, including your mentors and your financiers and others. And make sure that those relationships are high quality and that there is a win-win, there's a vested interest on both sides. And so all things considered, reduce your risk, right? Because your risk is going to be your time, probably some of your personal investment. You'll be reducing your income potential, or mortgaging things, or using your credit cards, whatever you're doing to finance the company. So reduce your risk by picking partners. And frankly, that's where I think, and it's not just because I work at Microsoft, partner with a big company that has some vested interest. If things take off, where they'll want to help you. And so again, pick your partners wisely, because it's time and money. And if you can reduce your risk by offsetting costs, that's a big thing, and get good advisors. That I think is very important.
Okay, great. And to wrap it up, so what in summary would you give advice to a business on how to run their business, to be successful?
Well, I think when young companies are emerging, the first premise for me is you start with the market, and and I mean that in a very important sort of subtle way, and I'll describe it by saying you have to satisfy, my words, strategic intent. What is your end customer? Whether it's the institution that'll make the buy, or the end user, who's maybe, if it's a consumer web thing or something, what's in their mind's eye? You have to recognize how much attention you're going to get from the customer. And so satisfying strategic intent is, if they could know everything about what you wanted them to know, what would you want them to do? Okay. To really simplify the level of action and engagement that you want from your customer. Okay. Really know that. Okay. Reduce that. And stick true to it. Define it. Wordsmith that. And part of that comes down to perhaps a mission statement and a purpose statement. The purpose is, why does your company exist? The mission is, what are your near-term achievable goals? Your strategies are how you're going to achieve that. If you don't think about satisfying strategic intent based upon your market context, I think you'll be off base on those things. Okay, well, thank you so much. Thank you for being with us here today. I'm glad to be here. This is a terrific opportunity, and we wish everybody well that's starting a business. Thanks. Thank you so much. Great. Thank you.